Greetings all, it is Max and we are back, and today we're going to talk a little bit about what the Swiss got going on. Now I want to tell you all, be very careful what you vote for, right? Be very careful when you get on your little bandwagons about Trump this and Trump that. Oh, he's our hero, or Biden and Sleepy Joe, he's the greatest one ever. And how dare the right do this and how dare the left do that? Okay? Because God's laughing at you guys. All right? I'm going to go through this thing here. Obviously, you see the headline. Swiss agree to outlaw facial coverings in burqa ban vote. All right. This is from March 2021. All right. They're banning face masks for Islamic women while they're walking around huffing and puffing on their cootie virus masks. All right. Narrow majority voted to ban burqas and other face coverings in a measure critics say is a violation of Muslim women's rights. Now, how do you ban the Muslim women things and then everyone's walking around in a doctor outfit like they're a guest star on ER? Final results show the measure passing narrowly. Proponents criticize coverings as a symbol of political Islam. Opponents decry violation of women's rights. Adds reaction from Muslims groups, and the article is by Michael Shields. Now, regardless, it doesn't really matter what you think about this issue, whether or not you think they should be allowed or they shouldn't be allowed. It's not really the point of what I'm trying to get at here with this. I want to point out some things that, like, people want to relate, especially people who watch crap like CNN and Fox News and all of these propaganda sites that want to try and make America into these other countries all around the world. America is not these other countries all around the world. And we'll show you why America is not these other countries around the world. But America can be. All it takes is for you to do nothing. And go, well, the Europe is doing it, and the France is doing it. We can do it too. Or the Canada, they got free health care. I'd like free health care. I want that too. Let's look at what's going on in these places that we get compared to all the time. In Zurich, March 7th, a far-right proposal to ban facial coverings in Switzerland won in a narrow victory in a binding referendum on Sunday, instigating by the same group that organized a 2009 ban on new minarets, whatever those are. This is called a far-right proposal to ban facial coverings. Now it says here the measure to amend the Swiss Constitution, right? The Constitution passed by 51 to 48% margin. Right? How far right is the proposal when the majority, however slight, support it? This, ladies and gentlemen, is democracy in action. Whoever has the 1% more vote gets whatever crazy crap that they want passed in all of these little European countries, or whatever the Queen says, if you want to talk about Canada and Britain. They don't even pretend to vote. 51%, because 51% of the people say they don't want Islamic women wearing burqas. They're going to change their constitution. Now, ladies and gentlemen, how could those terrible things happen to that small group of people 75 years ago over there in Europe in that whole World War II? How was that even possible? Oh, to think such a thing, that could never happen today. 51% to 49%, guys. There is a reason America is a representative republic. It still comes down to democracy based on how the representatives tend to vote, right? But look at this. You want a country that's run by like two more people, whoever gets a little bit more fraud in their elections, to have overarching control over people's personal freedoms. I look at it, this is like, why are you making laws over this stuff? Who cares if people want to wear burqas? I'm not for the idea on your license. I don't think you should be able to have an identification card that has your face covering. I think that that's stupid. But if someone's walking around on the street, they can wear a mask, they can wear 10 masks, they can wear a burqa, they can wear a clown makeup, they can do whatever they want. But hey, I'm just a dumb American. What do I know? The proposal under the Swiss system of direct democracy, which maybe has its merit in that this is what the people want, this is what the people will get. But you see how quickly that can go bad. And I might add that Sweden is not the only one that has done this. The news and Mr. CNN and Mr. Fox News, they don't want to talk about that. Muslim bad, right? Direct democracy does not mention Islam directly and also aims to stop violent street protesters from wearing masks. Yet local politicians, media, and campaigners have dubbed it the burqa ban. Well, and then you also tell everybody that it's mandated to wear a surgeon mask. You see how nonsensical this stuff is, guys. In Switzerland, it is our tradition. Our tradition is that you show your face. That is a sign of our basic freedoms. Showing your face is a basic freedom. Why wouldn't covering your face be a basic freedom? Wouldn't a face covering be the same sort of thing as growing a beard? Jesuitical speak. Walter Waldman, chairman of the referendum committee and a member of parliament for the Swiss People's Party, had said before the vote. So Walter Waldman is a moron. Facial covering is, quote, a symbol for this extreme political Islam, which has become increasingly prominent in Europe and which has no place in Switzerland, he says. And people get mad at Hitlerio 75 years ago for what he did. 51% to 49%, guys. This is not 1945. Okay? This is not 1945. Sunday, March 7th, 2021. As everybody in Sweden is running around with a mask on. Okay? Muslim groups condemned the vote and said they would challenge it. How? The idea that Muslims are ever going to get 51% in Switzerland? Huh? Where all them blue-eyed, blonde-haired people are hanging out? You think how many blonde-haired, blue-eyed Muslims are out there? You think they're going to get that 51% in their great, fantastic, direct democracy? To say today's decision opens old wounds, further expands the principle of legal inequality, and sends a clear signal of exclusion to the Muslim minority. This has nothing to do with Muslims. It has to do with personal freedoms. Right? That's it. It's nothing to do with Muslims. It promised legal challenges to laws implementing the ban and a fundraising drive to help women who are fined. No one's going to be fined by that dumb law. Anchoring dress codes in the Constitution. There you go. That's kind of funny in itself. Let's put a dress code in our Constitution. Boy, them Swedes are brilliant. Is not a liberation struggle for women, but a step back into the past. The Federation of Islamic Organizations in Switzerland said adding Swiss values of neutrality, tolerance, and peacemaking has suffered in the debate. Gee, you think? Here we go now, guys. In case you all think that Sweden is just this wild hare, just this wild and crazy country, Sweden, they're only 8 million people. So it's like, whatever. They can kind of run their country however they feel like it. And again, relating this back to America, North America, the United States Corporation, we have states, right? So like whatever the federal government's doing, we're not supposed to really care about, because Minnesota, the state that I live in, is the size of Sweden. Got about the same amount of people, probably even a little bit bigger land-wise than Sweden. Okay, so that's kind of what we're talking about. When they want to talk about what's going on in the federal government covering this vast country of like 4,500 miles across, if not even more than that, it's one of the largest countries in the world. Not by people, but by territory. Territory and people, I should say. You know, and anytime anyone wants to bring up all this stuff about how Great Britain is and what Sweden is doing and what France is doing and what all these other countries are doing, it has nothing to do with what we're doing. Anytime anyone wants to bring up what Joe Biden is doing in Washington, hardly affects us. But everybody's got their ears to the ground waiting for the stimulus check. Other than that, what does it matter what the guy does? They're going to do what they're going to do. Let's see. France banned wearing a full face veil in public in 2011, guys. And Denmark, Austria, and Netherlands and Bulgaria have full or partial bans on wearing face coverings in public. Oh, man, those loving Europeans with all these brilliant, bright ideas. These wonderful How did all that stuff? And we want to be mad at Germany. We want to be mad at Germany in the 1940s. Now, I understand that they're shipping over a whole lot of really angry Islamic folks, but that's dudes. That's the men. What difference does it make if women wear the burqa face coverings or not? What is this really all about? They don't want people wearing face coverings so that they can use their facial recognition software on everybody? Do you think? Do you think that's possibly the real explanation for what's going on here? 2 Swiss cantons have already local bans of face coverings, although almost no one in Switzerland wears a burqa, and only around 30 women wear a niqab. The University of Lucerne estimates Muslims make up 5% of the Swiss population of 8.6 million people, mostly with roots in Turkey, Bosnia, and Kosovo. So there's 30 women in the country of 8 million people that are wearing face coverings, and they're doing constitutional amendments and trying to make this an anti-Islam thing. Or is it so that they can take everyone's freedoms away to cover their faces when they're tired of the face scanners? Because, you know, these Europeans, they really like their cameras on every single stop sign, street corner, don't they? But they got to vote to protect themselves from the brown lady in the with the eye slits in the burqa. 51%, guys. 51%. And you know what they look like right now? This is what they look like. This is in Sweden. France, Spain, Switzerland, Belgium. This is what you get. Thought they banned the face coverings. Oh, that's only for brown people. And somewhat Islamic-looking stuff. It has nothing to do with that. That's only for brown people. Here we go. In France, we got a double, triple mask. He's even got the France flag on his mask. He's a French patriot with his slave mask. Does he know that's illegal? Does their president know that that's illegal to wear the face covering? According to their constitution, the constitution says. Interesting. What else do we have here? Burqa bans. Which countries outlaw face coverings? Paris, Quebec, Canada, Austria, France, Belgium, Germany, Bulgaria. I wonder how all that stuff happened out there back in 19 what was it? 19 I don't know, where all that crazy stuff happened in the showers or whatever. How did that happen? How'd that happen? 1%, a 1%, a literal 1%er. 1% margin allows idiocy to happen. But only if you allow it. Only if you allow it. And you can blame all this stuff and say, oh, look how crazy those European countries are. But look what's going on in America. The country is only as good as its people. And there's a lot of people out there who fall for all the programming because they've been brought up since they were wee little tots, drinking all that formula corn syrup mix while their parents are both off working and they, 10 to 16 hours a day while they sit at daycare. Then they go off and they go into preschool, another daycare. And then they go through grade school, which is another daycare. And then they go into junior high, which is another daycare. To senior high, which is another daycare. And then you say, well, we don't have any money, son. We spent all of the money we had putting you through daycare. So go out and take out a loan for a couple $100,000 and go put yourself into daycare for another 4 to 8 years. So you can actually do something with yourself. Like vote in elections. Like vote in elections and be that 1%. It's time for people to wake up, all right? It's time for people to wake up. This stuff is not too long off from here. Do you know that as soon as just a small percentage of people stop wearing that crap on their face here, it goes away? It's already taking place right now in my town. I called this a couple of months ago as they're starting to ease up on stuff because people are stopping to wear the mask. Once you have like 15% of people that just won't do it, the government is going to come out and say, we're no longer requiring masks. It's no longer a mandate, blah, 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 blah. Pretending like it's their idea. And you know what else happens? Is the more people that are around without a mask on, the people who are wearing the mask feel really dumb. Really dumb. And make no mistake, none of this has anything to do with anybody's health. None of this has anything to do with Islam. They want to do this to say Islam is bad and because of crime is the cover story. But this is to make sure that they can capture your face for facial recognition. And they don't want any religious exemptions for showing your face. Yeah, good for Sweden, good for France, good for Belgium, good for these guys. They passed their face covering law so they can, make them all, they can take away their own freedom. With thunderous applause of the 51% versus 49%, guys. So that's really about what I have to do with this article. And, it's just something to think about, right? And all you ever hear is, how could all that stuff happen 75 years ago? And what was all that about? No, it was just terrible. And them German people are just terrible. Look at what's going on today, people. You think that this is bad? You think this stuff hasn't happened before? People are people. This stuff just rolls around in circles. And like I was saying, God's laughing at these people. All of this stuff, all of these guys who want to pass these things to say, you want to make it illegal for someone to wear their traditional clothing? Ha ha! Now you all get to wear surgeon masks. How you like that? Now you can wear 2, 3 of them. And you don't think God has a sense of humor? I think this is hilarious. And I don't live in Switzerland. So I couldn't care less. For me, it's a good example that I can see from afar that I don't personally have to deal with. And I am going to keep talking on YouTube to try and wake a couple of people up there. So hopefully this junk doesn't come here to America to where I have to deal with this stuff on a daily basis. Right? So with that, we're going to be out of here.